All right, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, you already know what time it is, and right here, right now, we're live in full effect worldwide, and we got the one and only phenomenal MC. We got the one and only Jay Faith right here, live on the line, man. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Hey, man, you are most certainly welcome, man. I gotta say, first and foremost, thank you for reaching out via email, man. I gotta say, when I first heard your song, it blew my mind. I knew I had to get you on the radio station.
That's always good to hear, man. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to it. A lot of people don't take that time, so I'm gonna take the blessing where I can get it. So I appreciate you too.
But I want to take you back to the beginning of your amazing career this far, man. I have to ask, man, like, what actually made you decide to get into the music industry initially, man? Because, as I just mentioned, you're so gifted at what you do.
Yeah, it was kind of a weird turn of events. Hip hop actually kind of fell in my lap, which is something I explained later on in my career. But it was something that really fell into my lap, and when I initially started, I started kind of one of those kids, just started writing and not really knowing what I really wanted to write about. I wanted to be a rough rider. I was talking about jewels and cars and, partying it up, which were all things that I wasn't doing at the age of 16. So looking back, I would kind of ridicule myself for even stepping into that. But I think one of the bigger motivators that really pushed me into it was DMX as an artist, really diving into his discography and seeing not the stuff that you really kind of keep on mainstream, but, some of those deeper songs, I Miss You, Dogs Out, some of those deeper songs that he put out that really had a lot of just conscious rap to it, and just really took you to a place, that you needed to be and really hit you in the feels. And that's really what was the initial motivator into why I wanted to start writing and making and putting out music.
And I gotta say, man, DMX has definitely influenced so many individuals, man. I still can't believe that he's gone, man. Like, I gotta admit, he's one of those artists, man, that I always thought that would live forever.
Seriously, I mean, and he was one of those artists too that I really dove into. For me as the casual listener, it always intrigues me to learn more about the artist themselves as a person and see, what makes them tick, and that's what can either, speaking me personally, can either really make or break how I perceive them as an artist and whether I actually will kind of like them in a sense. So, back when VH1 was doing all the music, they had like the behind the music for him, and really seeing the struggles that he went through, both with, drug addiction and then spiritually, and then obviously just in the music industry. It was really cool to just see all those sides of him, but you would always see him kind of beat it and move past it and rise above it. And then when all this stuff went down, it was kind of the same thing. It was like, all right, come on, man, it's DMX. We know he's going to have a little bit of struggle, and then, he's going to come back and try to fight 10 times harder than he did before. But unfortunately, life and God had a different idea for us, and he was taken away from us. But it's just crazy, man. It's like, yeah, I definitely agree. He's one of those people you just thought he was gonna just keep pushing and find a way.
And also as well, man, in the year 2013, you actually released your very first solo project titled I'm Still Human. I was wondering, for the listeners that don't know about this project, can you tell us a bit more about it? And of course, is it still available to be streamed or purchased today?
Yeah, definitely. I'm Still Human, obviously my first project, as you just mentioned. I wanted to really get off to a good start as far as trying to let the fans know exactly who I was as an artist, in the sense of no matter the level of fame, the amount of money I would make, the level of success, I was still a person. Like, I was still somebody that dealt with the same similar things that a normal 9 to 5 average Joe going to work, coming home, deals with, emotions, mental health, different struggles. Like, nothing, just because, I make it in music, that doesn't change the things that I still go through. A lot of people only see it through the lens of, they just went on vacation again, or they just bought another car or another house. But I really wanted to convey that even from the jump, I'm making a promise to myself and to the fans that I'm still human and I'm going to stay human no matter where this takes me. And the album it's available on AudioMac right now. Just for anybody that wants to listen, audiomac.com. You should be able to, it's available for free download too.
And also as well, man, one EP that I actually came across of yours that I personally dug into and really enjoyed, man, was your 2018 release, titled "Settled." I was wondering if you can, what is the story behind this phenomenal record, man? Because I gotta say, a lot of those songs were so heartfelt.
That was a really interesting one for me to release, especially as short as it was. And it was at such I would say probably the lowest point that I've probably ever been in my life. And not to say that I'm comparing myself to other people, because there's always people that are going to have it worse than you. But I had, in writing that, putting that album together, that EP, it was really one of the lowest times that I had been in. I had been bouncing around from houses to houses. With my fiance at the time, we were trying to figure out our living situation. Money was super tight. I was getting let go from jobs, trying to find a new job. It was a really low point, and upon the completion of the project, I had finally kind of reached that basically basement settled point of like, okay, I've finally got my feet on solid ground, and this is where I'm going to start building up from. And, it was a really fun EP to put together. The producing was a lot of close friends of mine, Ibiza and Silly Grin, who helped put the whole project together. And the features were, I really appreciate everybody that was featured on the project too. They really delivered something that stuck to what I was trying to deliver with the project. So I was super happy, when I dropped that one. But yeah, it was just a really pivotal moment in the time period in my life. And, it's just one of those things that you just learn and grow from, and, and try not to make the same mistakes.
And also as well, the following year, man, in November 22nd, 2019, you were actually featured on Nighthawk's single titled "Who's to Blame." I was wondering if you can tell us a bit more about this phenomenal collaboration, and of course, what was it like just working in a studio with them?
So it was actually interesting how I met them. So I'm from Massachusetts, they're from New York, and I had initially kind of linked up with them. I forget how it kind of came about. So I had initially followed a rapper from Germany, actually, and then he had a producer who was from the U.S., and then I guess their cousin. So then, we kind of, once you start working with people, everybody starts slowly kind of getting linked together. So, we started, kind of chatting. He's a producer, and Nighthawks is a brother duo, and one of the brothers, Riggs, he's a producer, and he had a lot of help with one of the other projects, Last One Out. They're also featured on that project too. I'm sure you kind of checked that one out as well. But we've been working on a lot of music throughout the past couple years, and when he hit me with the song, "Who's to Blame," I instantly threw down the hook of just talking about who's to blame for the problems in your life. A lot of people like to just start pointing fingers, And in actuality, it's really us, as people that are kind of screwing ourselves over, and we really have to kind of self-reflect and stop putting the blame on other people and just accept and just take ownership of what we're doing. And moving forward, where so we actually didn't get to meet in the studio. He sent me the beat. I put my verse together, recorded it at my home studio, and then sent it out. And he just put everything together for a super dope track. We've also done a lot of collaborations on their projects and my projects. He helped mix and master my second project called Opening Remarks. So we've had a very long-standing relationship, and it's extended past just music. We've been very close friends. I visited out there for a weekend, actually my wedding anniversary weekend a couple years ago, and got to just kind of sit down and chat and obviously meet in person for the first time. But, it's extended past just music. So, and even when we don't talk a lot, get a chance, life just gets super busy. When we do finally reconnect, it's on a more personal level. It's not just straight music. Like, we're here to support each other, whether it's our families or just who we are as people, and just trying to make it through the day to day.
And also as well, man, in the year 2020, you actually founded the company titled Right Mind. I was wondering if you can actually tell our listeners a bit more about your company, and of course, what services do you actually offer to the general public today?
Right Mind was something that I had been wanting to start maybe a few years prior. I had a different name, and I was still trying to, kind of put the pieces together as any startup kind of business brand entails. And it finally came to fruition after the self-titled project, Right Mind, where, again, it's kind of putting things in perspective of, making sure your head's in the right space in accomplishing whatever it is that you're trying to go after. So in establishing Right Mind, the brand, and the Instagram page and the YouTube and stuff like that, was based on the 4 fundamentals of music, mental health, fitness, and financial literacy, which are all things that not only myself, but I'm sure millions of other people deal with on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis. And I wanted to, speaking music specifically, again, as an artist that's been coming up in the music industry, there were a lot of things, steps, tips, and tools that, I missed kind of coming up that, we always wish that we had maybe sooner, that could have taken us to the next level a little bit sooner. So what I wanted to do in putting Right Mind together was be able to try to help deliver information to people to help them in those 4 areas, whether separately or as a collective. As music, you got to manage your finances, but music can also help with your mental health. Music is also a big thing in fitness, and so they can all be kind of tailored in together depending on how you use it. And I just wanted to be able to just give people some sources of information, to help them on their way with what they're dealing with. Again, speaking music specifically, to give you kind of an example, or the listener that maybe hasn't, checked out the page yet. Music, it's, how can you build a home studio? What are some things that you need to build a home studio for, say under $500 if you're kind of balling on a budget, but you really want to make music. Here's how you can do that. How do I, mixing and mastering, to booking a show, to PROs, the list can go on, but, all things that I've, slowly accumulated into my knowledge over, years. I want to be able to, help deliver that to people. Am I reinventing the wheel? Probably not. But the more availability of information that people can have, the more successful people can be. And you know, especially with music, it's all about the culture and just trying to build up the culture, and that's exactly what I want to do. I never want to see somebody be limited to what they're trying to do because of X, Y, and Z and information that I can provide for them. So what we've done with Right Mind at the moment is hosting Right Mind Wednesdays, which brings in people, artists, but, you know, just regular people, and we kind of talk about, you know, things related to the four concepts and just talk about experiences and relaying information. Everybody deals with things in different ways, and it allows people to get a different perspective to be able to be like, hey, you know what, I really haven't tried that before. Let me try that with my mental health, or hey, let me use that tool for making music. So it's just trying to make it a little bit more personal than, you know, say, just simply looking something up on Google and then sharing it with people, but really making it personal and being like, yeah, like this person's also dealing with what you're dealing with. So here's how they were able to manage it. But we also do the live stream so that people can kind of tune in, chat, you know, send in questions. So, you know, this way we can get instant feedback and build on the conversation and answer questions right there and then. So, you know, it's still an ever-building process. You know, we're still kind of working on the formatting, you know, but all in all, it's really just to try to get people information to just help them grow, help them make them more successful. Not necessarily always in those four areas, but just to be successful in life. But, you know, again, we talk about just personal situations, and, you know, there's always little things that you can pick up that's maybe outside the general topic that we're talking about, but, you know, just words of wisdom that we can share with people, you know, in the end. So just trying to deliver, you know, information to people and just help people grow.
Also, as well, man, October 29th of this year, you actually released your most recent single titled Freedom. I was wondering that I'm going to be playing immediately after this interview as well, by the way. I was wondering, what can our listeners actually expect from this phenomenal song when I actually play it here live on the FM dial?
Freedom was really fun to put together. It's a very lyrical, you know, type of song, but it really wants to capture people just trying to find their source of freedom, their escape. What is that one thing that just helps you just take a break from normal life for a second, whether it's music, whether it's going to the gym, whether it's art, going for a walk, you know, hiking. I want people to be able to find that freedom. Mental health is such a huge thing still, and, you know, it's very important that we take care of that, and I think it's still very overlooked. And I just want people to be able to find that escape, to be able to just take a break from life for a second. Life is already hard enough without taking any breaks. So just trying to encourage people to find that freedom. And, you know, in the song, freedom, you know, the freedom that I found was the freedom in music and being able to just express myself, how I feel, the things that I'm going through, and not be afraid to share it with other people, but also to share it to hopefully inspire people, you know, who may be going through the same thing, and just be able to talk about it and be like, you know what, I feel you, I'm going through the same thing, but, you know, we can get through it together. But I put together, you know, a little bit, you know, as far as, you know, lyrics and stuff. It was a weird turn of events as far as the song goes being put together, because I don't know, the way my brain works, maybe it's a little bit weird, or maybe I don't know. But I had a lot of these verses kind of written, but separate, and they just all worked together. And I ended up submitting this song for a rap contest, and it just came together the way it needed to. And, you know, that was kind of the initial launch of the song, and then I eventually decided to release it, you know, to share it with people when the timing was right. And, you know, now we're here in the present, just trying to find our own freedom.
And I gotta say as well, I actually noticed that song, I believe that song actually won an award as well, man. So definitely congratulations on that. It's definitely well deserved.
Thank you. Shout out to Domini Beats who put the contest together. I placed top 10 in the contest out of, I think, like 2,500 people, which is a great accomplishment, and I appreciate them for taking the time to listen to the music, critique it, and put it where it was. Shout out to all the people that competed. Obviously, top winners, everything like that. Definitely want to support all those people for putting in the hard work as well too. But again, shout out to Domini for putting that whole contest together. They do it every year. I've done the contest the past couple years, and it's just a lot of fun. It's a great way to just really test yourself and see what other people are making, and just kind of just go with the flow and put yourself out there. To be critiqued. I think sometimes we need that challenge to just get critiqued and be able to hear the feedback and learn from it and grow from it.
But I have to ask, man, what is next for yourself, J-Faith? Is there anything we happen to miss during this interview? Anything else you still want to talk about or promote? Well, we still got you here live on the Canadian Dial this evening.
We definitely have a lot in the works. As far as any shows for anybody that may be listening that's local, I don't have anything, as far as December. But as far as music goes, I have an EP that is dropping this month. I also have a collab album that is going to be dropping at the end of the month with the artist's name is called Life. It's spelled Lyfe. It's Love Yourself for Eternity. So make sure you check him out. He's another dope artist from Massachusetts. He's both a singer and a rapper, so he's got that pretty solid combo as far as that goes. So definitely be on the lookout for that. The project is going to be called 41st Ave. And currently right now I'm working on my 7th full-length project. It's going to be called Apartments. I'm still, in the recording process, but once that's done, I got probably about 2 more songs left to record. Then it just goes into mixing and mastering. And so hopefully sometime, early spring, maybe February, March. I'm aiming for February, March. I'd like to get this thing dropped. It's something that I've been working on for about 7 years in totality. So, I'm really excited to release it. It's just something that's taken a lot of time, whether it was, finding the beats or, just kind of putting it all together. But I'm glad that it's finally coming together now. And I'm excited to share it. I'm eager to share it. This is definitely, as kind of everybody kind of always says, their best body of work. But it's something that's really personal to me as far as the things that I was dealing with at that time that are still timeless. And, I'm excited to share and let people know, because a lot of these things are things that I've kind of kept under wraps. Just being the person that I am, I don't like to speak too much about my emotions, and other than, on a beat. So, this is the perfect opportunity for me to share that. So I'm super excited to share that. And then just building up Right Mind and, hopefully, kind of expanding on that and just looking to, grow in the music industry, connect with a lot of people and, share my music with people and hopefully, connect and grow. Not only just to get fans to, to boost my streams or whatever, but I really want to connect with people, shout people, see how people are doing and really connect with them on a more personal level. So we can grow as people together too, not just through music.
But also, J-Faith, this is the time in the interview that I give a chance for the individual that slides into the radio station airwaves, just like a chance to give shout-outs to whomever they want to give shout-outs to, but most of all your social media handles. That way our listeners can follow you and stay updated on everything you got going on if they're not already doing so.
For sure. So first and foremost, you can follow me everywhere. It's at J_FaithOfficial, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I have music videos that are up there, along with a series that I've started called Between the Lines. which just takes a deep dive into music that I've released and talking a little bit more behind it, exactly what it means, talking what's really between the lines of what I've written on the page. The other thing I want to definitely shout out to my hip-hop collective that I'm a part of. It's called Minds of One Collective Genius. We're a hip-hop collective of artists, photographers, digital graphic designers, videographers, and we're just, a group of people just, trying to support each other and, help each other grow. We all got different skills and, things that we bring to the table, and we're just here to support each other. So make sure you follow them. There's a lot of great artists that are part of that. So make sure that you show your support. It's Minds of One Collective Genius. You can follow them on MOCG Media everywhere as well. Instagram, Facebook, all that fun stuff. Trying to think who else. Shout out to my Right Mind team, turntable teachers, as well as Blaze Training. Make sure you follow them as well, and just show your support for them. I'm always trying to just, make sure everybody gets support. It's not just about me. I can't do it by myself. Shout out to my engineer, Mikey V. I was mixed and mastered a lot of my music and got me to the point that I'm at right now. I got to, give credit where credit is due. And last but not least, shout out to the Bridge Sound and Stage. That's where I'm currently recording my album with Mertz, and just really making something phenomenal, that I've been working on and trying to release for, probably since 2013. I actually found a sheet of lyrics from one of the songs, and the date on there was 2013. So it kind of blew my mind how long this has really been in the process. And I just thank God, for having me here, and my wife for supporting me all these years.
And I got to say, first and foremost, man, thank you so much for just giving us a bit of your time here this evening and sliding into the 97.7 FM airways, man. It definitely was an honor and most definitely a privilege, and hopefully down the line we can make this happen again sometime soon.
Oh, for sure, definitely. I appreciate you having me. I appreciate your time, and whoever's listening, I appreciate you all tuning in and checking this out. I really appreciate it. Make sure you not only check out myself, make sure you keep staying tuned in to 97.7 Outlaw Radio, but also check out all the people that I've kind of mentioned. Play this back if you're able to, and make sure you follow those other people too. There are a lot of great people out there, and they're just looking for the same amount of support that I am. So, again, I appreciate your time, and having me on the show.
Hey, man, you were most certainly welcome, man. It definitely was an honor, and I gotta say, man, I hope you have yourself a wonderful night, man. And again, thank you so much for your time.
Likewise, I hope you have a great night as well.
You as well, man. I most definitely shall try. Thank you so much.
All right, take care.